for already, and we're going to have to see if they can pull off these same sort of bot lane focused strategies when they're playing against Bloodwater and Labman, who really did look a cut above the competition yesterday.
You think about how strong Morgana Caitlyn is on this patch, as we are going to get into the draft. I mean, Labman and Bloodwater had a complete domination using that pairing, so certainly a lot to look for here, but the draft has started, and Vlad and Singe will actually be the first ban, so Captain Nuke going to lose his champ, Aurelia going to join the pool, and Talia, Kha'Zix, and now Rengar. Wezzy once again going to lose his aggressive junglers.
Yeah, very quick bans going through here. Wezzy definitely was getting a lot of bans towards him on those aggressive junglers. Interesting to see, Aurelia up there is not too surprising because of how prevalent it has been throughout the tournament. Graves, another early pick favorite, I think. Wouldn't have been surprised if we saw Caitlyn, getting into the bans, because I do think Caitlyn Morgana has been incredibly strong and that is available. We do still have Xayah Rakan available here as well. With the Rakan picked up, you can grab Trundle and then actually third pick your Xayah for that combo if Labman and Bloodwater want to run it.
Yeah, I mean, Rakan, Trundle, very strong picks, but Ezreal certainly not a bad first pick overall either. So an interesting trade of power that Maryland now going to have 2 picks to make.
Yeah, it is very interesting, and so many people are just running the TP Ezreal. It does give you a very safe lane. It's hard to attack, especially if you do have a range disengage type support. We've seen Ezreal Janna and these sorts of things. Ezreal Karma certainly an option. Also a flex pick here. Could be going mid lane to white, and when you have Yang on the team, you have to say Karma could be going top as well. That would be even more typical than something like the Morgana, so wouldn't be shocked to see that up there. But for now, I am going to assume that it is a Karma mid, Taric support down in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Quirk again going to revisit Taric. It was his most played during the season and played it twice yesterday in their wins, so clearly comfortable on the champion. Of note, Kai'Sa also available, perhaps not the best composition for her, but also an option if Irvine want to take it now. So kind of interesting to see what picks were left up, but like you said, it makes sense that an AD is going to get picked away here, but certainly some choices to make. But kind of the obvious one here is Latman does lock in Xayah.
Yeah, when you early pick the Rakan, you're assuming that it is going to be the Lovers duo. Can obviously pair up with other AD carries here too, but this does give you a lot of power, in the early game as far as the engages, and also in the mid game. I do think, on one item, Xayah is incredibly strong. Once she hits her Essence Reaver, is going to be very, very powerful, and the engage from Rakan throughout the game is just so good. It's very, very difficult to react to, even from across the screen, and that is going to put some pressure here on Quirk and how he's using the Taric, because you have to really be on point and using that ultimate early enough to make sure that it can actually land before someone gets burst down by that combo. Now, that being said, Karma does kind of buy you some time if it is in a team fight for the ultimate to land, and that is why things like a Karma can pair very well with the Taric.
Yeah, kind of interesting to see kind of where the rest of the carries go, perhaps in Maryland, but Zach and Olaf banned away, so Wezzy continuing to take hits here in the ban.
It's kind of interesting to me to see those 2 bans coming out. Yes, they are strong tank junglers, but at the same time, you already have Young Bin on the Trundle, and those are both good matchups for Trundle. Olaf can have an advantageous early game, but it gets absolutely destroyed by Trundle later, and Zach doesn't really win at any stage against the Trundle. Assuming the Trundle is playing it perfectly, you could pillar out the Elastic Slingshot, so just kind of trying to reduce the power of the pick there from Wezzy, and not worrying as much about the fact that, Young Bin here already has a good jungle matchup. And I mean, that's 4 bans thrown towards him, so that is clearly who they see as the threat.
Now going to have to play a new champion, I believe, as well with all those bans. So we'll see what he picks up in a second, as 2 mid laners were banned. So Discraton's going to take Rise with Zoe and Orianna taken off the board.
We've seen in some of these games with heavy bans Xin come through, there is always something like a Sejuani as well, but playing Sejuani into Trundle feels really bad, especially when you're playing Aftershock, plus your actual Frost Armor passive there from Sejuani. If you get ulted by Trundle, you can actually go into negative resists and get completely shredded. So perhaps that is what UCI is trying to force them into, but we're going to find out what the answer will be.
It's funny with Graves up as
Graves
well.
is still up, yeah.
That's, I mean, maybe just saying he doesn't play it, so, let's ban these other junglers, which I think is pretty bold. We'll have to see given how strong Graves has been, but Cho'Gath looks to be the top lane. You do never know, though, with this team. And, of course, one more pick to come through.
I mean, Graves is a really good matchup in the Trundle. It's just kind of, as you said, they're assuming that he's not willing to play it. So J4 looking like the answer. And Jarvan can be pretty decent into Trundle. It kind of depends on how you're going to build it. Some people do still go Warrior Black Cleaver and competitive. You're more traditionally going to see things like the Cinder Hulk and a Knight's Vow and lock it in these sorts of builds. Pretty interesting. And for Yang, back to a little bit more normalcy. We're assuming that is Cho'Gath top, unless anything too crazy happens. And that was tied for his most played throughout the season.
Well, there's Gnar as the last pick there, so kind of a classic matchup there in the top side with Gnar versus Cho'Gath. Well, we'll kind of see how it all rounds out, because, yeah, we're expecting maybe some more surprises, but very standard on either side here. I think my main question kind of goes to, again, how can Maryland use this strong support duo in Karma mid and Tarek support with a carry like an Ezreal, who maybe with the double tier style builds can really overperform as a late game carry. Yeah. It's not something like a Cogwell, which you instantly think can really get things going in those 5v5s, but I think Alrighty should be fine.
And it'll be interesting to see if they feel that they need to bring a little bit more damage to the table and have a more aggressive build here from the Jarvan. Because yes, if it is a full tank Jarvan and full support Karma, then it is kind of all on the Ezreal to get that damage done. But Cho'Gath still is really going to help you on the front line killing, with his obviously true damage ultimate. If Jarvan is going to be going something like a Black Cleaver, even Black Cleaver tank, that can certainly help there as well. And sometimes in these sorts of compositions, you will see Karma just rush a straight up Ludens or something a bit more aggressive and add quite a bit of damage herself.
Certainly a lot to consider here, but both teams looking for that final spot in the finals versus Colombia, who've already made it through. We've had one sweep already today. Either team would be happy with a 3-0 here, but of course still many more games to play here in the best of 5. And I think, again, on paper, you see Irvine come in looking so strong, looking so on form, but we kind of thought that yesterday when Maryland played, and then they ran it back for 2 games with some wacky stuff and were able to make it quite the series. So at this point, I think they're the true wild card remaining in the tournament. So we'll see what happens.
We definitely do, and seeding has not amounted to much so far. I mean, UCI is the highest remaining seed, but the first seed got upset in the first round. We saw that Western, the third seed, got knocked out yesterday by Maryland. So definitely a lot of upsets have been kind of happening, and wrenches thrown into the gears. But there's a lot of comfort in this game on both sides. You have Yang, playing Cho'Gath on his most played. You have White on his most played with the Karma. Even Quirk, his most played is the Tarek. So these guys really are drafting very heavily for comfort. And I tend to like that in a high-pressure game.
I have to agree there, as the teams are going to spread out onto Summoner's Rift. Fun fact, we have 5 teleports in this game. Lightman actually has one on his Xayah, not something I've seen too often.
Huh. And it's pretty interesting. He may have simply been taking that to match what he was expecting to be a TP Ezreal. And now it is not a TP Ezreal. So we'll see how he's going to be able to kind of navigate this and make that work for him in the lane.
You can see Captain Nuke and Youngbin hanging out as well. Perhaps a late invade incoming, or maybe just checking out the scenery. Bloodwater and Lightman also going to move in. Look for the ward. Do grab it. 10 gold to Bloodwater. Always nice.
Yeah, it's always nice. And it always kind of implies a little bit of pressure. Like, you don't know if there's then a follow-up late invade or something wacky going on. It's not going to amount to too much, but on the top side, this is going to be tough because this is Gnar, ranged champion, can stay here, throwing out the boomerangs, harassing them on this buff. And the blue bush hasn't even been leashed, and they're just going to be able to kill off the ward.
Yeah, really nice there from Youngbin, using that Q to take the ward down nice and quickly. Yang and Wesley still here, but 2v2 is going to stay like this for quite a while, you have to think.
Yeah, Karma has the push, though. So now they have to back off, and that's kind of just a lot of wasted time here for Youngbin. And Youngbin is actually going to get harassed perhaps a little bit by White, but he does decide to back off. Pretty interesting start. I mean, I think it's worth the try to go for something like that, but the UMD played it very calmly, just waiting for White to shove it out, waiting till they have that man advantage, and that's just going to mean Youngbin is a bit behind off the bat.
Yep, going to start that buff a little late, so we'll kind of see how that influences the early game here. Down in the bot side, though, already pushing forward, being level 2. Kind of surprised to see them play a bit more aggressive in this lane. Usually expect Xayah to get the push going with Rakan.
Yeah, but one of the things that kind of mixes that up is the fact that you have a Relic Shield support here. So on that first wave, you can actually use both of those charges if you really want to get the push. More commonly, people use one on the first wave, one on the second. But still, it's double minion dematerializer and a Relic Shield to no dematerializers, no Relic Shield on the other side. They even each spent a charge on this next wave. You dematerialize the cannon, you dematerialize one of the melee minions. You're going to have the push, and you can kind of expect them with this style of play and with this setup from their runes to have Xayah and Rakan under the turret. But that does mean you can be vulnerable to any potential ganks, and that's why, thinking a couple steps ahead, Quirk is over here, deep warding, and will catch Youngbin as he comes out of that push.
Yeah, I can't see him exactly, but might as well be able to. And of course, when he moves out, he will be able to. Now going to get spotted, so knows the blue is gone, knows where Youngbin is. Youngbin, though, good brain there, going to make sure he sweeps out the ward using that plant.
Yep. But this is so much of what League is about, right? Is you know, kind of making the most of the vision you have, making the most of the imperfect information you have, being able to anticipate where your opponents are, and you know, even just seeing that Trundle the one time, even though he has had that vision figured out, they're gonna have a good idea of where he could be, right? He's probably already cleared his top side. He's gonna be probably around the drugs, or rather around the goal in there on the bottom side. There's kind of only a few options that he really has. He could go wolf, etc., etc. But you have an idea of where he can be, and then even seeing the fact that the scuttle is dead gives you more information. There's a lot of counting CS and these sorts of things in competitive play when you are trying to track opposing junglers, and it really does just let you know where they are. And the best junglers are able to very accurately track their opponents, even with just these little glimpses of information.
It's kind of interesting that you mentioned the dematerializer, because I just looked back over, and Karma has some as well. So 18 to 6, if you want to count total dematerializers brought to this. And I think, given how UMD have played, much more mid-late game focus, playing more teamfight comps, willing to drag the games out a bit longer and trust more in their coordination. Where's he, though, going to get it going early? What a great dazzle! Bloodwater ignited and taken down for first blood.
Nicely done there from UMD. They pull the trigger and just catch Bloodwater out. I think he just needed to early flash, but he thought he could maybe just get out without it. But the dazzle catches him there from Quirk. The ignite is committed, and that was a really, really nice game plan, honestly. You have the early push with the double minion dematerializer, as well as that relic shield. They have them under turret. There's no way that they can have vision of his lane gank, and then pulling that off right away from Wezzy gets first blood.
Well, we'll check this one out again. Wezzy stuck in there. Even I didn't notice until it was too late.
Yep, no vision. There's the knock-up. He flashes right back and gets actually just immediately caught by that dazzle, and that's just really well done there from Quirk. And this is honestly a perfect early game buy here from Alrighty. When you can have tier call, you're going to feel really, really good about a quick base like that. So all things looking good, and some of the questions have been answered as far as builds. As we can see, Wezzy is going to be going a bit more of a damage build. Whether that was reactive to getting a first blood in a lead, or that was just the game plan all along because of lower damage composition, it's hard to say, but either way, is at least going to go Warrior.
Well, Latman does TP back down to the lane, but UMD with the early lead. And much like top lane Nunu, we're slowly unpacking the little things here in this comp. It is interesting to see how creative UMD are as a team, and so far so good, picking up an early gold lead. As a result, Youngbin here does go for a left side invade, but Wezzy spotting that out and feeling pretty strong. Another dazzle attempted. Quirk's one set up wonderfully last time, and now Bloodwater going to trade it back in. Latman getting the feathers down. That's going to force a flash. Did get the ignite out of the deal as well, though.
Yeah, still a very nice trade there for UCI, being able to fight back a little bit, and it's going to be Quirk here under quite a bit of pressure because he has to be worried about any potential dive. Youngbin is in position for a counter gank here, and the bot lane's actually collapsing up, so they're just going to see if they can catch Wezzy.
Yeah, he got spotted. There's also a ward, so they know where he is. Gank timing looked good, but Youngbin was there ready with the counter gank. Now spotted. Going to see the Rakan soon as well. Does steal it away, so Youngbin with a bit of counter jungling getting done there, and White can't really help out with Bloodwater just next to the jungler.
Yeah, got the big Raptor as well as almost all the little ones, I believe, and Latman kind of bailed out and went back to bot lane to collect the wave. So honestly, a nice little play there from UCI, utilizing the fact that they had to push in bottom lane, making use of these small little advantages when they find them. And this is one of the things that really impressed me about their play yesterday. You can see Youngbin also rushing the Tiamat, just kind of trying to maximize farm here on the Trundle. And it can be a very, very powerful build because Trundle with Tiamat farms so incredibly fast and can get you out to a pretty strong lead.
Wezzy down bot side for the revisit now. See if he knows it's warded. No, does not. He's going to path over the wards, so UCI will play appropriately. Actually have both brushes covered pretty nicely.
Bloodwater wants to interrupt at the very end of the recall. Just be annoying as possible. That's basically your goal. Anytime you spot a jungler, you don't want to immediately just bail out and run away. You're trying to waste as much of his time as possible. You want him to think that, oh, well, maybe they don't know I'm here. Maybe I can actually make this gank happen. And Bloodwater just kind of maximizing that. But Wezzy going for the long con, so maybe they actually don't know he's here now. So yeah, we'll find out how they're going to play.
Looks like a control was put in that brush and turned the other ward off. So now it's kind of a guessing game. Wezzy going to town off for a little while longer, but actually goes back home. Might have been timing there for a gank, but 6 on Latman with the flash, probably making that a non-event.
And it's hard to know because you don't know where the Trundle is, right? So this has been going on for a long time, and if you're trying to make this play happen for so long and Youngbin comes down and counter ganks, that's going to be a disaster. Also, if you're losing your topside jungle, that's going to be rough. So they did actually spot Wezzy going in, and this is a 3-man collapse on the blue buff. He could be in trouble here. Still has no flash.
Yeah, Discardon coming down. Why a little late on the play. Now going to get rooted up and moved back by the pillar. The ult out from Jarvan, but Nuke able to claim the kill on the blue buff, stolen by Youngbin.
Just really well done there. They get the blue buff, they make the collapse happen, and get a kill here as well. And there's no way that White can actually continue this play because there's so many extra members on the top side.
Drop fight. Yang instead maybe wants to trundle. Youngbin does get the farm, but now Yang a little too far forward. Nuke dealing damage to the pillar. Doesn't quite catch him, but they do force the flash out of the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, I thought Yang was just going to come up and feast the Gromp and walk away, but actually, fancying the fight there, overestimating it seemed like his position. Both members were still there. Captain Nuke and Youngbin were still both around, so gives up his flash for really nothing.
Yeah, Doran's Blade fades there for the Gnar, so Captain Nuke more than happy for a scrap. And you mentioned the Tiamat Trundle already, also pretty good in any sort of skirmish.
I mean, he's basically doubling him up on farm now, right? That is the cost of if you go to a side lane and you spend a lot of time there, you start risking the chance of losing your top side. And in this case, he lost the smite fight on the blue. They lose the Gromp to the Trundle as well after he dies. And now, despite the fact that he has first blood, he's actually down in gold to the Trundle.
And I think as much as we've praised UMD for their creativity, and rightly so, I think the same can be said for UCI and their decision-making because of how crisp, especially Youngbin, has been from the jungle position.
Yeah, and this is just smart play, right? They have this warded out. They knew that Trundle was on the bottom side of the map. They know the blue is respawning. They assume Wezzy's going to be up here, and this is just a three-man collapse. No flash on him because of that early first blood that he got. So an easy collapse. They get the kill. They take the side of the jungle, and that limits, again, his options, right? Because now he doesn't have very many camps on the top side. That's going to kind of force him back to the bottom side. That's why Youngbin is sitting here. That's why he is waiting, because he's saying, all right, well, he's going to come bot. He's going to try to farm this side of the map and potentially look for a gank.
Maybe even look for this Drake, actually. UMD changing tactics just a touch. We'll start off this Cloud Drake. Have good vision actually through in the river. So everyone going to roam through, and with 4 people there and no vision for UCI, they will take that first Drake down, nabbing a Cloud for themselves.
Nicely done from UMD. Doing what they can. And Karma does still have the push. You can see these guys have been using their dematerializers pretty liberally, though. White is already out of them. Alrighty is already out of his as well. Quirk may hold on to the last couple just in case there's a banner, but...
Ooh, Captain Nuke looking for a solo kill. Needs one more proc. Auto needs to come through. Nuke able to grab it under the turret.
Yeah, that's the cost of Yang actually going over and fighting and giving up his flash by that Gromp. He didn't even get the Gromp, and now has no flash to escape from a solo kill from Nuke. And if you start bleeding out that much in the top lane against the Gnar, it's going to get really, really rough. He'll have you under your turret. He'll start taking structures, and he can really start to outpace you as far as the damage goes.
A little bit sweeter for Captain Nuke as well. We talked about the Maryland players having experience actually winning high school tournaments. Captain Nuke was on the losing end of that final all the way back in 2015. So must feel nice to get a solo kill there, 1v1. Youngby going to make another dive happen. Bugwater here as well as Discraton going to try and grab the root. Chilling Smite down, but the TP through from UMD going to look to defend. Ryzar going to try and get him out of there. Yank says yes.
That was very close to being able to get interrupted perhaps, but either way, they get in, they get the teleport out from Yang, and Captain Nuke is back to the top side, has his TP available, and a Black Cleaver complete.
Free flash there, I suppose, from Discardon. Yang getting some value out of his TP as he does force the mid lane summoner.
Yeah, not too bad. It's kind of just a respect flash. I mean, if you get tethered and then you get knocked up, you have so much damage that's going to come in because it is going to be the Mantra Q from Karma, and then the Feast is available. Wezzy up to the top side. He's going to be spotted out, but this is getting scary for Captain Nuke into Yang. I mean, Yang is down 2 levels.
Ooh, another double dazzle there from Quark. But you see happy to stand their ground and fight. Ult down, they're going to try and maybe re-engage, but kind of just baited it out. Now a cooldown wasted.
Yeah, I think Bloodwater actually popping that second E for the re-shield. I think Quark thought he was going in, and now they're going to go in.
Bloodwater instantly re-engages, looks for Alrighty, doesn't grab it. But that first combo, able to get a kill.
Yeah, very nicely done here from my man in Bloodwater, despite being the victim of that early gank. They're the ones getting the advantage in the bottom side. This could be another solo kill.
Solo kill number 2 onto Yang is going to be found by Captain Nuke, starting to really run over this matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of all downhill from here for Yang. It gets so tough to hold on. Doesn't even have his teleport to come back, so potentially a first turret as well. You can see Wezzy's working his way up, but Youngbin's there to kind of zone them off.
Well, first turret might actually be down to the bot side. Wezzy here, now going to go back in. Mega Gnar about to pop White though. with the damage, and the shutdown goes over to J4. Kara, though, is going to go down. Shared goal here for first turret. Does go to UCI's duo lane, who are continuing to find footholds in their games.
Yeah, they are looking to start to kind of cut out these advantages across the map. I mean, they are up 3K gold at this point, and this is really kind of how they did it in their series yesterday. They're able to just play the map very well. They're playing extremely intelligently, and this is just kind of a mistimed Taric ultimate. So I do believe he thinks he's going forward with the second E. So right as he E's back, he pops the ultimate, and I think he thought that was actually the grand entrance. I think he thought he was Wing forward, so just a misread on the animation, and then stepping up very boldly after having expended that ultimate and just gets shredded down.
Perfect Bugwater for the mind game, however, as Nuke just collects this one. This is kind of the doomsday scenario of tanks versus Gnar.
Yeah, I mean, when Gnar has a black cleaver this early on and you don't really have anything except a couple pieces, you just get absolutely slammed by even the mini Gnar, and it's pretty rough now for Yang because he's going to be put in a long lane 2 levels down against Captain Nuke, who will likely be working towards a frozen mallet, and that becomes very, very difficult to even approach for CS without risking just getting ran down.
Yeah, it's 30 CS down right now, 20 in the mid lane almost for Discraton. 80 carries are a little closer, but he's already Lapman and Bugwater, showing, especially now with the Reaver finish, that more than willing to pull the trigger on a lot of these fights. And try and get some of these extra turrets knocked down. Top is low from the earlier play in the 1v1 as well, so UCI is starting that snowball pretty early.
Definitely the case, and Wezzy is going towards a black cleaver, I do believe. Could mix it up and turn that into something else, but pieces of a phage likely going to be black cleaver, going for at least 2 parts damage, which is going to be nice. If he can catch out someone like the Rise, who is pretty mid-short range, you can dunk that guy. You can really help to burst someone down and turn around a team fight, and UMP will still have a very powerful team fight as long as they don't continue to bleed out these advantages over to UCI, because Taric is so damn good, especially in combination with a very easy to do engage like J4, because you send in your full damage Jarvan with the Taric ultimate, with the Taric stun, and that is kind of a very simple way into the fight.
Not quite Master Yi, but will certainly get part of the job done, I suppose, as Rift Tower does also go over to Maryland. Let's see if they can get use out of that to claim the first turret, but here's a play on the bot side. Yang gets slammed almost into the walls. The TP will come through for White to defend, but Yang now left alone. There's a kill for Rise under the turret. Yang cannot catch a break. Yeah,
it's so rough for him. I mean, already he's way behind on even having enough armor to survive against Nuke, and then a fed Rise just comes down, and he has no MR whatsoever. He's building mostly armor and very little HP, so just going to get absolutely shredded there by Discraton.
Has to build the armor as well, because the Fed now in his lane
exactly.
is the one delivering all the punishments. So basically every time Yang is trying to catch a wave, he's getting killed. UCI are just knowing that they can snowball through that lane. And now with the Cloud Drake coming up, UMD did manage to grab the first one, but the second one looks to not be the case here, as Wezzy's just cleaning up farm there in the bot lane, as we'll watch this again.
I mean, this is a 3-level disadvantage, and it's so tough because Karma is TPing in, but it actually looks like it got Trundle pillared in the mid lane. That's what I'm assuming, is Trundle does get close, and Discraton just going to absolutely destroy you. And yeah, there it is. That's what I assumed when I saw him on the minimap. But it's one of those things that it's so tough as a tank when you are behind against a mixed damage team. If it is, all AD, then whatever, you're just going to still build armor, but he's going to get slammed even from stacking armor by a Gnar who is mega fed. And then even if he somehow gets enough armor to stabilize against the Gnar, then you can still 1-3-1 and just swap the Rise over into the Cho'Gath lane, where he's going to have nothing to deal with that.
Bugwater again looking for the combo. Yang again continuing to be picked on, does live through that onslaught. Quirk and Wezzy roaming up to make sure he stays safe.
Yeah, nicely supported, but again, that is the flash down. It's a flash for Ignite, so certainly positive trade there for Bloodwater and Lapman, who are looking to pressure up here on the top side. And Ezreal was down by bottom lane. I don't know if they can win this 2v2.
Gonna try for something here perhaps. Bloodwater does have his flash, so holding on to their CC, but now gonna jump in, but the damage not quite there. Now they all down from Quirk. Youngbin here as well pretty early. Bugwater low, but he's dancing around. The rest of UCI up. Wezzy does manage to grab that kill, but now the cavalry has arrived. Wezzy getting low. There's the stun forward onto Yang, and he's gonna go down once more. Quirk. Now the next target being chased is Discraton, ready with the roots. The tower not that healthy. White forced to flash away, but the dive is coming out. Youngbin ready with pillar number 2. Quirk goes down to the flash Q from Riot. Discraton still running forward. Flash pillar in. Youngbin able to get another kill over to his mid lane.
They're just getting everything here. UMD is trying to fight back, trying to knock down some turrets in the mid lane. They'll get at least one, but they're going to lose probably 2 turrets here on the bottom side. The team is coming into collapse, and it's like it is a Rise all over the mid lane. He's just going for it.
Yeah, going back in again. Alrighty, can't juke forever. Perhaps he can. He's going to try. Don does that next hit, but the next one's going to come out. He misses the second, but Nuke, he's already started the dive. The autos are there. Rise collects the next kill, and Nuke lives through the turret dive as well.
That is a delayed ace there for UCI, killing UMD all across the map. They defend their tier 2 turret, and they are pushing now for this tier 1 mid. Baron is going to be up on the map in a minute, and they are getting so far ahead off these plays.
Yep, the outer ring is going to be felled close to 7,000 gold ahead once this turret falls down. And again, this team that has just so cleanly snowballed every single one of their games is continuing the trend here in the semifinals.
They just play the map so incredibly well, and when you're losing, you feel like you have to make plays. And UMD is doing this, but Bloodwater waiting until the Cataclysm is in the air to flash that. So this actually gets away, kind of baiting them as far in as possible. It's a double TP coming in from behind. Youngbin is collapsing. This is 5 members from UCI showing up. Ezreal's on the other side of the map. White running up as fast as he can, but he can't get there as fast as someone who has his TP up. So, there's no way they can really combat this. And then just the chase down potential of this phase rush Rise and the Trundle Pillars.
We'll get those kills and turn it all back around in mid as well. UMD rally back around the red buff, but Youngbin fancying a solo kill on a mid laner here is Trundle. Thankfully, White lives through the first ulti.
Yeah, but Desperton is around, and they're pressuring on all sides, right? The mid lane is being shoved in. UMD are looking for a play here.
Wesley looks for it, Dazzle's good, finds Bloodwater. Flatman though dodges with the ulti, but alrighty, grabs the first kill. Wesley low after the first play, but still a nice pick from UMD.
Yeah, good play there, using the Bastion Dazzle combo onto the Jarvan to actually land that stun with his engage, and it's basically guaranteed if you do time it right, but the problem is you're losing your turret on the other side. We'll see if Desperton can actually get out. 3 members are collapsing.
Gonna fight. He knows he has to. Starts the combo out, but Wesley gets a knockup. White still dancing around Yang. He finally wants a kill for himself. We're gonna reset the gold timer. The feast is ready to go. And who's gonna grab it? It will be Yang. Shut down gold to the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, very well done. They do collapse. They get a kill there, but it's a kill for a turret. And you saw as soon as those members were spotted going over for Desperton, Captain Nuke goes right back up to the turret bot. He starts pushing that back in. He's going to get the bottom turret. So they're just playing the map, pulling their opponents apart so well. Even when UMD makes these good collapses and finds kills, they need +1 to 2 members to guarantee those kills. And that means someone else is pushing elsewhere. Someone else is creating pressure and getting objectives on the map. And that is really what UCI has excelled at this entire tournament.
Have to agree. And UMD, unfortunately for them, will be playing catch-up for at least the next 10 minutes in this game. UCI has built themselves such a strong lead that they're able to really dictate where and when things happen. Maryland, again, doing what they can to get some gold, but it'll take a while to catch up with a lead this big.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at Yang versus Captain Nuke. Captain Nuke is almost 4,000 gold ahead individually, right? Like, that is just disgusting. That's almost an unwinnable, lead at that point. Like, if there's a one-on-one at all, there's no possible way. There's nothing that Yang can do. You even see Captain Nuke building towards a Blade of the Rune King, so he's going much more force split push style. Really does want to continue to be able to push this advantage and shred Yang, and building damage, and in particular, percent HP damage is how you continue to expand that lead.
Again, been such a nuisance already. It was kind of a problem with just a fade, and now it's gotten even worse. Now that item 3 is on the way, Yang does make his way over, but Latman holds on to his cooldowns for now. UMD, I think, trying to get vision around the Baron, but you already mentioned Nara is the problem. Teleport will be back up soon for Nuke, and he's very close to knocking down the inhib turret.
At this point, they're going to try to rush Baron. I mean, there's really nothing else going on for them. They know Nuke doesn't have a TP, so they're just saying, all right, let's go for it. We have Cho'Gath, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, they've already started it, but it's taking not enough damage right now. You can see it now. They put a control ward in to get the vision. And yeah, Nuke's like, fine, I'll take the turrets. Baron still, again, so much stronger now. Where's he going to dive back in? They're going to look to turn for the engagement. Latman with a great ult. Gets the better soon. The more, but the Cosmic Radiance is pretty good. They'll take down the Xayah. Nuke will look to claim the turret in bot side, but UMD, they get at least 1 kill.
They do get a kill, and it was a great Taric ultimate that protected them from so much of this damage. they're just going to return to the Baron. I mean, I feel like they're a little bit paralyzed right now. They're not sure what they're supposed to do. They keep canceling their bases. They're changing their mind. They're canceling their bases again. And now they've just essentially given up that inhibitor.
Oh, good silence. It should be a kill over onto the Rise as a result. So they get 2 out of the deal. No! A flash away is Where's he going to try and finish him off? Flash auto is enough, but he bought so much more time. Nuke in the bot side was able to grab that inhibitor as a result.
Yeah, so they got 2 kills. You know, that is something going on for UMD, but it's an inhibitor and a turret given up as well. Youngfin's going to grab the Dragon, and they just don't have enough damage to burn down the Baron very quickly. So there's some split decisions, certainly, you know, not knowing what exactly they should be doing in that situation. And, you know, Nuke just playing it calm, staying in the bottom lane, expanding his lead even more. You know, almost up 100 CS at this point over the Cho'Gath.
We talked about it, UMD, when you're this behind in as almost any team, you need to get some trades because you need gold. But the trades get worse as the game gets longer because it just takes long to catch up.
And it feels really hard to make any right decision. Like, almost everything feels wrong because the opponents just have such a massive inherent advantage with their gold lead. But it is something that you want to see. You want to see UMD being proactive because you win this game 0% of the time if you play passively.
Yep.
There's just no way because you'll sacrifice all neutral objectives. You'll give up both sides of the jungle. The gold lead will expand. You'll have no chance. You do have a chance, albeit a small one, from this really big disadvantage if you force Baron, if you get a perfect team fight, if you get that 50-50. These are ways they can have a chance at winning the game.
Well, back to Baron is the call. Lucio not quite in position just yet, but speeding over with the second cloud that Youngbin picked up only a minute ago. And now going to go in. They're going to just try and force the fight. Hope the Baron goes up, but UMB again looking for the fight. Flatman again with the ultimate down. Blood going to try to time the backline. Charm in the front. Where's he goes down? Flatman grabbing the first kill, but White also getting low as Yank does kill Latman. Able to get a counter kill there on the other side. It's a bit of a mess. 2 versus 2. Nuke goes in, looks for the sweep, only grabs Quirk on the right. He gets over the other side. White trying to protect the carry. Might be able to run a 2v3, but the minions in bot side probably going to say no.
Yeah, pretty close fight there. It is a 2 for 3. Tarek didn't even have his ultimate. I mean, if Tarek had his ultimate up during that fight, that might have gone well for UMD there. As it is, they trade, you know, 2 kills for 3. They are getting pressured on the bottom side of the map, but still, you know, not a bad play overall. They're playing out these team fights pretty well, and the next fight will have Tarek ultimate available. So if they can execute really well in these fights, really well in the engages, and get a kill on someone like Latman or Descraton right off the bat, they have a chance.
Well, Alrighty is pretty close to finishing his second tier item as well, so certainly the wheels are in motion. So let's watch this team fight again.
And here it is again. It's all about the Bastion Dazzle combo with Wezzy. They're going to send him in the back line over onto Latman. Latman, very nice timing, and the Dazzle just barely missing out on him. But, you know, imagine a world in which that Tarek and the Cho'Gath are immune to damage as they're going forward, right? That buys so much more time for the carries and does give you an opportunity to turn it around. As it is, they just got shredded down because this is, you know, mostly a full damage Tarek at this point, and he's not going to be very, very tanky. But, you know, Alrighty, certainly having a good fight for himself and, you know, doing his best to kind of keep his team's hopes alive.
Yeah, pretty close to transforming as well. Does have the Archangel's not finished. You can see the damage he did was a lot, but needs a little bit more work to get it all done. Oh, Youngman may be caught in front of the Baron. That's never a good spot to go. Now they're closing down. He's going to go down. Where's he stays alive? The team's still going in. Alrighty needs to dish out the damage, but Lightman's still free firing from the backside as Bloodwater dives into the front. A scoop from Nuke. He gets quite a lot, but the carries are still alive. Quirk is low, but the Rise is popping off on damage. Now the team going to ride through. Alrighty going to have to cut it out. He flashes out. Going to try and dodge the feathers. Does do so, but burns the flash as a result.
Oh my god, another 3 for 2 by the Baron, but they're actually just TPing mid lane here. Latman is going for the macro plays, trying to push it down mid, and they can try to force for a second inhibitor. So key that Alrighty was able to escape that though, playing it very intelligently in the final moments of that fight to kind of stay alive. See if they can defend this inhibitor.
Yep.
10 seconds.
Not found, so does make it back to base to try and defend. Inhib turret will fall, but Inhib should be safe with White respawning.
I mean, they're hanging in. They are still kind of slowly falling behind on gold, but they are hanging in there. They're finding their opportunities. Captain Nuke does have the Blade of Rune King done, and now it looks like he's finally going to go back towards tank. And when you are joining the team fights as kind of this full damage Gnar, there is a possibility to get burst down. Here is the Cosmic Radiance coming down. Youngbin is dead right off the bat. Cosmic Radiance, you know, pretty well timed, but Wezzy had lost most of his life. And you know, the problem for UMD was actually Descraton was able to kind of flank and get onto White, which really did force him out of the fight. You know, had White been in the fight for the whole time, I think it could have looked very differently. And this is smart from Alrighty, you know, stopping and running down towards the blue. is really the only thing that kind of let him get out of that.
Yeah, and again, both carries dishing out a lot of damage, burning their summoner spells as a result as well. White, however, did not do as much damage.
Yeah, and that's the result of what I was talking about.
Yeah.
He gets flanked by Descraton, he gets pushed out. Imagine a world in which he is in that fight. That can look very differently, but Descraton is flanking again.
Where's he going first? Laman's gonna go down! They grab the shutdown already though! Also getting chunked by Descraton. The shields are massive, and now Alrighty's caught. In everyone else. Nuke gonna make it, but the Cosmic Radiance is gonna protect the Ezreal. UMD so far behind in the game, but somehow finding their footing in these fights. Alrighty goes forward, but he got stunned! Descraton stands his ground. Youngbin able to grab the shutdown, but Nuke now gonna go down to the remaining members of Maryland. Youngbin, the only one left alive for UCI. How are they making these fights even close?
Tarek and Karma, the amount of survivability they get is so incredible there. And that could have been a destroyed fight, and potentially a Baron had already not shifted into the Mega Gnar. Kind of lost his mind there for a second, shifting straight into the carries. But they had played that fight so incredibly well, but still, they come out on top. Another 3-for-2 fight, this time for the other side.
Just a reminder that that's basically 10,000 gold ahead for UCI, and somehow these fights look even in gold. So watch this one again.
I mean, it's engages. Wezzy gets right in this time. No ultimate coming out of Xayah. He just gets dunked. The ultimate came out too late there. Already gets knocked down. Descraton flanking this time, but the Cosmic Radiance was still there. And I think if you play this fight a little bit more slowly as Alrighty from here, you can clean that up. But shifting forward, the Mega Gnar still available. Taking down that marksman was huge for UCI because it prevents the Baron from being taken afterwards.
But again, the damage numbers.
Donut there for Latman.
Oh,
that
no!
does it all in the fight.
Not what you want, a tasty snack, but not good in a late game team fight. Infernal Drake also here, so again, more team fight power could be added. This is a pretty big Drake.
And Captain Nuke is topside. I don't know if they want to fight it or not. They may be kind of trying to retreat back towards this split push game. They are struggling in some of these team fights. Against this Terror, but they're TPing in now. They're going to look for it. Mega Gnar's almost ready.
They peel off. Descraton hiding in a brush. If they find him, that could be tragedy. Alrighty, get a face check. He's biding his time now, finally gonna face check. They see the rise now. Gonna get blown up already again. The shields are massive, but the scoop comes out. Cosmic Radiance, they can't protect him for long enough. Yang zoning out the carries on the backside for the front side of the fight will continue, but Descraton, so sneaky.
Yeah, Descraton has been finding such good positions in these fights, and the Cosmic Radiance just barely not landing onto Alrighty there. Maybe could have made a bit of a turnaround on the fight had he been able to, but Descraton, so much patience, hiding out in that brush, waiting so long, and that one small gap in vision cost them big time because that is a lost Infernal. That is going to be a lost Baron as well.
Yeah, Wesley up in 18 seconds, so we'll see if he can run there as fast as he can.
This team has so much damage.
Yeah.
This is a full damage, essentially, Gnar as well as double-fed carries, and it's just going to get shredded.
Yep, certainly is. No time at all to try and make it happen. Kogath also dead. It even can't look for a face. Baron now over to UCI. A big break around that Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, really a lot of credit to Descraton because he has been deciding so many of these team fights for his squad, and finds the perfect position, waits so long, waits till he can actually hit that combo. That is already down to about 10%. The Cosmic Radiance coming out here, yeah, just not in time. If Quirk used that a little bit earlier, maybe something can happen, but the timing on that is very, very rough, and it's so hard to react. When you have pop block, you want to drop a heal. All these things need to come out at the same time because Ezreal started the fight at 10%.
You can see Latman also lives through the fight, so the trend of which AD dies first is kind of continuing in these team fights, but UCI again can kind of recompose themselves. Now with Baron, should be very strong in these sieges. Is looking to knock down some inhibs and maybe close this game out a little bit more calmly.
Yeah, and I mean, the carries are monstrously strong, and Captain Nuke actually just turned that cloth armor into a GA, so still sticking full damage. Descraton's on 4 items. You see Latman on 4 completed items there as well. The carries are very, very strong, and all about a full item ahead, so it's going to be tough for UMD.
Where's he going again? Looking for the dazzle. Does find a stun onto Captain Nuke only, but he's about to transform.
Yeah, just not able to follow up on that. He's diving in so far. It was a good attempt, and that's what you need to see from UMD. That's what's been keeping them in this game. But
ooh, Charm on the front side. Quack! Actually lived her a little bit too long, but popped his ulti as Latman able to finally seal his fate.
And that feels like that could be it. That could be the game right here. It's so hard to defend with a Taric down, no ultimate when he comes up either. They're going to lose both bottom inhibitors. The top inhibitor turret is down. This is essentially just a free triple inhib.
Yep. One down in mid. Bot side going to fall soon. Where's actually maybe rethinking that situation, but he's going to get charmed up and taken down. Not tanky enough on the front side. Yang going to try and get a kill on the Bloodwater, but even he can't finish that feast off. The Scraton again, zoning them out of the way. White and Alrighty trying to defend their base, but it's looking to be completely crumbled here by UCI. They take down one Nexus turret, they'll grab the second, and the Nexus soon to follow. Got a little dicey there in the mid game, but UCI continue their dominance here in the College Championship.
Yeah, playing the map so well, and that really has been the strength of UCI. Finding objectives, always being able to get advantageous trades because they're controlling the minion waves, because they're winning those lanes, and really looking like a very measured, very controlled game from them. Credit to UMD, though, from behind, being able to team fight so very well, making UCI really work for it around the bear in multiple very, very close fights.
You can tell why they like to play these team comps as well.